Hey everyone, I wanted to take a moment and show you everybody how I set up security on a new blog. There have been some questions about it, so I wanted to go through and take you the steps. I'm not going to go through all the specific details, but I am going to go through the steps I take. So what I've got here is a fresh WordPress install. This is my demo site, and so the first thing I do whenever I install a new blog is I set up security. So the plugins I use for that are all-in-one WordPress security and firewall, and Updraft Plus for backups. This is literally the first two steps I take. The first thing I do is I install these plugins, I go to WordPress security and I set it up, and then I go set up backups. Every blog, first steps I take. So let's start with WordPress security. So I'm going to go over here to the dashboard and show you what we're looking at. We're looking at, it's got a little meter here. It's in the yellow by default because I do a secure install, and so certain things are already set, but I never want to score 470. I usually want to score around here somewhere, because the higher you score, the harder it is to use your blog for your users. So I usually look for a happy medium somewhere around here. So you can go down here and see what's not set. Admin username. If you created it with an admin username, you need to go up here to users. You need to create a new user, give them administrator rights, log into that user, delete your old admin user. Make sure you have admin rights before you do that. Do not delete it until you know for sure you have it. The other thing is file permissions. We'll get to that in a second. So we'll start with login lockdown. Login lockdown is for letting people only log in so many times so brute force attacks are stopped. It's really simple. You check this box. If you fail to log in 3 times within a 5-minute period, your IP address will be locked out for 60 minutes. A setting I like to use is to instantly lock out invalid usernames. So if somebody attempts to log in with the admin user, their IP address is locked out for 60 minutes. One caveat here is if you mistype your username when you attempt to log in, you will get locked out for 60 minutes. The only way to get around that is to manually disable the all-in-one plugin through FTP. You can change the time to 30 minutes if you want. You can also have it email you whenever someone's account has been locked out. So save settings, and then we'll go back to the dashboard and we'll see that I've moved up a little bit and that's now green. All right, so file permissions is green, but I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. So you'll come here and you'll see that they're all green. This says set recommended permissions because they don't match, but this is actually more secure than what this is, and that's why it's still green. If anything ever shows yellow or red, you'll press this button on that line and it will automatically fix it for you. But you see it's all green. I already have 20 points for that, so I don't need to do anything. Coming down here to basic firewall, we'll go over to there. Now this is why I like all-in-one security, because it's very granular about its approach and it tells you what it's doing. I'm not going to go into the details. You can look them up. Just suffice to say, I pick all of these settings. This particular setting will block any mobile apps, any WordPress mobile apps from working. Just so if you use WordPress app on your phone or tablet, it won't work if you enable that. It's also a vulnerability. A lot of people use it for denial of service attacks. Going to the next one, again, I check all these off. This is an important one. This is where they can't bring up an index view. So if there's no index file in any directory, so if you create a directory underneath your WordPress, call it downloads, you put files in there, you don't need to put a fake index file anywhere. This will automatically block it as long as it's underneath the root of this WordPress install. And so we'll go over here. Again, I check both these off. And then I go to the 4th tab and I check that one off. All right. You can do hot links, It does sometimes cause problems with the dashboard, so I don't usually use it. So we go back to the dashboard, and we'll see I'm right in that area I want to be in. There's a few other things I could do with spam prevention, turning on CAPTCHA, but I use a different plugin for CAPTCHA, so I don't turn it on here. Alright, so that's basically what I do to set up my security on every site. The next thing I do is I go set up backups. Now I do it through a main WP console. Everything's automated, but since you may not have that, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set it up manually. Alright, so we go to Updraft Plus. It's under Settings. You'll see the current status, so we'll go straight to Settings, and we're going to set up our backups. Now, the best thing to do is to set up an automated backup. I do weekly, and I keep 2 backups. If I am building a site out and I'm doing a lot of changes over days, I will set it daily or even a little more often, depending on how often I am updating it. But when I'm done with build mode and I go into launch mode, I switch it to weekly, and I do 2 scheduled backups, so it saves 2. Now it will back it up to the server, but I also like to back it up to my Amazon S3. There's a few other options here. They will step you through all the procedures. If you don't have an Amazon S3 account, you should totally get one. It's so easy to use, and it's very, very cheap. And so we can come here, and we just need to put in your access key and your secret key. You create a new user in Amazon S3. You can create those credentials, and it will give them to you. And then we put in the bucket that you created on Amazon S3, and that's the bucket where I save all my backups. You test settings. It is successful. I have a successful link. I will back up my plugins, my themes, uploads, and my WP content. It will also do the database. I can have it email me whenever it finishes the backup, and then I save changes. Everything's done. Now I can go over to current status and do backup now, so I can get my very first backup. I can run it, and the backup will run, and when it's done, I'll have a backup of my raw site, and again, it's going to back it up automatically without intervention from me, which is the best way to do backups. So there you have it. That's how I set up my basic security and backups on a new blog. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments or go to my website at randallhallonline.com and submit your questions through there. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.